Once upon a time, 'twas a great dragon turtle god Asherah swimming the vast cosmos of the multiverse. Upon its back was born a world of magic and wonderment. Of the Asherah realm, ancient songs tell of a great war lasting centuries between man and Vezin, known as the Age of Fire. The endless war threatened to extinguish all life on the dragon turtle god, until a heroic human princess sacrificed her life to protect her lover, Vezin. Her love moved the hearts of all across the Asherah kingdoms. The princess's heir, a bastard child born of both human Vezin blood, eventually became the emperor of all the kingdoms, and his bloodline has ruled since this time. 1,000 years passed until one day a burning rogue planet crossed paths with the dragon turtle god, filling the skies with blood-red colors and raining down crystal shards. 'Tis now the beginning of a new era, foretold by the prophets that will give rise to new heroes and tales of lore.
Little Red Riding Hood is back with a vengeance in this game called Dragon Fin Soup. So the main character is obviously based on the story of Little Red Riding Hood. She even has a pet called Big Bad, so the reference here is obvious. Anyway, let's not get into that too much. Let's move into story mode. Story mode basically features two difficulty levels. You have a normal mode and you have hardcore mode. The difference between these is that on normal mode you can pretty much die as many times if you want, and you can load and save and so on. On hardcore mode, it's basically like Diablo hardcore mode, so if you die, you'll stay dead for good and you have to start the game over entirely. So it's kinda unforgiving in that sense, so I suggest you start on normal mode unless you're a really hardcore gamer. Story mode is quest-based, more or less, with some story elements to it. And and the quest system has been in place for a long time now, implemented for most modern games. And to be fair, I'm getting kinda tired of it. It's the same thing over and over again. You found a quest, you do the quest, turn the quest in, go get another quest from another guy, turn that in, collect that, do that, blah blah blah. This kind of system really bores me and I don't really like it. Especially in an RPG where you have the story element. It would be much better if the game would be story driven entirely, so you don't actually feel like you have to do these mundane quests over and over. You can have a story which progresses the game and integrate these small quests into the story itself, so it has a more of a flow. But this game is at least partially quest-based, so it is what it is. It does have some story elements, which is good. When it comes to the quests themselves, I have found some bugs on at least a couple of them. For example, there is one quest which you could turn in an endless number of times. You can just finish it once, then you turn it in to the same guy over and over and over again without even having to finish the quest a second time. I won't go into detail which quest this is, because it's obviously counts as an exploit, so I'll just leave it at that. more so, I actually managed to get this game to crash at least once, although it was kind of a corner case. It wasn't really a normal scenario. I can't go into much detail about it because it would be a huge spoiler if I did. So we'll just leave it at that. I did have a crash, but I don't think it's a big deal because it's more or less a corner case that shouldn't happen that often. The movement in this game can feel a bit clumsy because you basically are moving around on a grid and you can feel it. It's not like the game runs very smoothly, you know, it's more like a bit of a choppy feeling at times. You can sense that the character moves from one square to the other and so on. Which wouldn't be that big of a deal because the battle system itself is turn-based, so there it works better, although when running on the map and stuff like that you also feel this. Let's talk about the interface in this game and the item menu and equipment and so on. It feels a bit clumsy to me here as well, because when you, for example, equip item or sell items or just move items around, there's several clicks you have to do. You have to do like at least 3 clicks in order to sell an item, then you have to do another 3 clicks in order to sell another item, and the same thing goes for equipping and so on. So the interface and menu system could have been designed a whole lot better if you ask me. Also, I would say that another thing with the interface is that the actual buttons move around. So the button for selling an item could be, for example, to the left in one case, and then when you sell another item it can be to the right, or to the north, or the interface button basically moves around, which makes it very confusing and just time consuming. Let's get into the battle system of this game. The battle system itself is turn-based, so you basically move around on this grid and you make a turn, and then your opponents make their turns, and then you make a turn, and so on, back and forth. And this is fine, it works well within this game. It's still fun, and it still flows pretty well. Let's talk a bit about the weapons in this game. You have a wide range of different weapons, and most of them features some kind of special ability. This could, for example, be hitting something in every direction, or having a larger range. Maybe you can hit in 3 or 2 squares in front of you, or you have multiple hits, and so on. You can choose to equip a shield or a dual wield. It's up to you, basically. The main character also features a rifle, which can be very handy for range combat. Different monsters are adept at close range or ranged combat, so the rifle can be very helpful versus specific types of enemies. You'll start off with a shotgun, and then you'll be able to buy other weapons as well, such as rifles and guns. The battle system also features a skill or /magic system, and I've found that most of the skills in this game are actually hidden, so you really have to work for them. And you really have to figure out the secrets in order to obtain them. At least that goes for me. All of the skills I've found so far have been a secret, more or less. And then we have the quick menu, which is also much like, I would say, Diablo, if I were to reference a game, where you have, or pretty much any game, World of Warcraft, you have this quick bar where you can equip potions or certain attacks or skills, pretty much whatever you want, food, anything that you want to have quick access to. In this game you also have a companion system consisting of either pets or mercenaries that you'll hire along the way. The pets are a permanent fixture to your party, and you can have 2 pets equipped at a time. You'll start off by having a wolf, which will be very helpful at the beginning of the game, and then as you progress further into the story you'll unlock more and more pets as you go. When it comes to the mercenaries, they can be hired and are only there temporarily. I think they stay for 24 hours in game, and then they'll leave the party and you'll have to go and rehire them if you still want them in your party. Let's talk a bit about the fishing system in this game. In order to fish, you first need to buy a pole. Once you have a fishing pole or fishing rod, you just need to buy some baits or lures. Once you have that, you need to find a fishing spot, which can be a lake or some kind of water found in many of the different maps in this game. The fishing system is kind of trivial, but the controls are a bit funky, I would say. For example, when you're gonna cast out, you're gonna select a different depth that you wanna fish on, and this is not that easy to do actually, because the way you do this is that you'll have to press and hold the X button after you found a fishing spot. So you basically press yes that you want to fish, then you hold this button continuously until the fishing game loads. Then once the game is loaded, you'll see that the cursor moves up and down and you can select a depth which you want to fish on. If you just click the button, you'll automatically cast out the line on a specific depth, the same depth each time, which can be a bit frustrating if you don't know the controls. There's nothing really telling you how you should do this, you just have to figure it out. And then we have the actual fishing minigame itself, which is also a bit bugged, or I would say the controls are a bit bugged. Basically, you'll see that 3 things can occur. There's a turn in the right direction button symbol, or you can turn in the left direction, or you can or it says hold. You basically can't do anything. What I found so far is that when it says hold, you can basically do whatever you want. You can turn in any direction. It doesn't really affect anything. The only thing that happens is that you can't reel the fish in while it says hold. When you see a green arrow that points to the right, you'll basically use both analog sticks and rotate them in the right direction. If there's a red arrow pointing in the left direction, you'll just use the rotation sticks in the left direction. And the most important thing here is that you use both of the analog sticks. If you just use one, it can be very hard to fish and you often fail. So just use both of them and just turn as much as you can in that direction. It should be fine. And the controls here aren't perfect. You can feel that it is buggy. For example, sometimes when it says you should turn left, you can turn right and still reels the fish in and so on. So it's a bit buggy, but it's sort of like works on the whole, and it's not very difficult. I should also mention that fishing can be a very good way to earn income, not particularly by catching fish, but by catching certain items. Usually if you fish at a specific depth, you'll find items instead of fish. For example, when fishing at the bottom of a lake. If you're lucky, you'll get a very good item above your level, and once you sell this, you can earn a lot of cash really fast. Moving on, we have secrets in this game, and this is a feature which I really like a lot. Having various secrets that you have to figure out throughout the game, and where you can earn special rewards and so on. We can start off by different crystals that we have in this game. There are several different types of crystals. It's not only one type, and each of these crystals you have to do a certain thing with. I won't spoil what exactly you have to do in order to get this secret or this thing working, but you'll have to figure out on your own. Just don't destroy the crystals. That's the first tip. You can of course Google this if you want and check it out, or you'll do as me, you'll just move and play along in the game and you'll figure it out eventually what you should do with these crystals when you see them. Then we have the environment in this game, which you can interact a lot with. You can move around and destroy almost anything. Sometimes if you destroy the wrong items, for example items in towns, you will be deducted a fee since you did not own that item. But the key here when it comes to secret is that you can destroy particular items that open up specific paths leading to some kind of secret, or you can use bombs, for example. Feels very Zelda-like. You'll use bombs to blow areas up and you'll find hidden items and so on. Then we have also pressure plates which you can step on. Basically it's sort of like the first little secret mini game you'll come across, where you have to step on certain pressure plates in order to unlock hidden treasures. It's not that hard, you'll figure it out pretty fast if you play this game. And lastly we also have the offering to the gods. Basically, when you run around in this game, you'll come across these funky looking statues that you can offer certain items to, and depending on what you offer and what you do here, you can get a good benefit or a bad benefit. And I won't say anything more than that. As I said, I don't want to spoil anything, so just check it out and hopefully you'll figure it out. This game also features a crafting system, and the crafting system is in this game is very similar to Minecraft, I would say. It's sort of like a simplified version of the Minecraft crafting game, where you basically take your items and you move them to the craft menu, and then you'll try to craft something. And you don't need to have the recipe in order to craft something. You can just choose various items and try to craft something. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you can sort of like try to figure it out on your own. The bad thing about the crafting system is that you'll have this clunky interface menu, as I've said before, where it is kinda actually hard to move items around and sell them and so on, where you have to like make 3 kind of clicks and then move the item and so on. It's not really easy to move items around, so this makes crafting very time consuming, because you have to move a bunch of items to the craft menu, then you need to craft, or move to the craft button, then you have to remove the crafted item in order to craft another item, then you have to add the other items and so on. So it's kinda, the interface menu sort of like works against you here. It becomes a bit tiring to craft, actually. Eventually, you know, you'll learn how to speed things up, but still, it's a bit time consuming. It again falls down to, you know, this poor interface menu design. What else? Yeah, in the crafting system you'll basically have a bunch of recipes. This could be anything from potions to swords to shields and armor and so on, and you'll find these recipes throughout the game. It can be in chests, it can be, yeah, basically anywhere, even in town. Just destroying items you can find recipes, and the level of the items I've noticed vary a lot. So basically if you're level 1 you can still maybe find a level 40 helmet or something. Obviously you can't craft that, but it doesn't seem to be connected directly to your level, you know, what recipes you'll find. So that was story mode. Now let's take a look at survival mode. And in survival mode we can choose from a bunch of different characters. We can choose different characters in story mode as well, but here it seems like we have a bunch more characters. But to begin with, you only have the main character. Nothing is unlocked when you start. And playing in survival mode is like playing in story mode but on hardcore mode. So basically if you die here then you're dead for good and you'll have to start over again, and that's really the challenge here, is that you can't die. You can save, however. If you're, you know, getting tired, you might as well save and pick up the game at a later day. But if you die, then it doesn't matter, then you're dead and you'll have to start over. As you progress through the different levels in survival mode, you'll come across different environments and harder and harder monsters, obviously, and even some bosses. And as you progress, you'll also notice that you'll level up a lot faster here and, you know, pick up equipment as you go. And I mean, once you die here, hopefully you'll make it to the end, but once you die, you'll get a score rating based on how many bosses you killed, how many monsters you killed, and how much you explored, and so on. And then you'll get a final score, which is you know, added to the leaderboard. Let's jump to the final mode, which is Endless Labyrinth. And in Endless Labyrinth you'll basically spawn in a labyrinth, surprisingly enough, and here you'll just work your way around and fight monsters and, you know, try to get as high of a score as you can before you die, because you will die eventually. Endless Labyrinth will just get harder and harder as you'll go, and the labyrinth will just grow and grow and grow, and eventually you will die. That's the main difference, I would say, in comparison to survival mode, where you actually can complete survival mode and you progress through, you know, certain levels and environments. Here you'll just push on for as long as you can and try to get the highest score possible. That's basically the goal of this game, but you will die eventually, and then you'll tally up your score and see how good or bad you did. Well, I didn't really want to end on a game over screen, so I thought I'll wrap things up on this beautiful world map overview instead, which we have for this game. So what's the final verdict for Dragon Fin Soup? Well, it is a lovely JRPG, and I really enjoy the graphics and the style of the game, as I do with all JRPGs. However, it does have some fundamental flaws, which I hope they will fix in the future, probably by some patches. We'll just have to wait and see, but if you enjoy the look and feel of this game, or never even played an JRPG before, but you're interested, then check it out. It's still available in the PlayStation Plus shop until, I guess, early December, so if you haven't downloaded it, just grab it. Hope you enjoyed this review. I'm signing off. This is Turkey in a Box, and enjoy all of your PlayStation Plus gaming. I'm out.